I'm Brett. This is our next video update on the Frankenstein car, which we spoke about in our last video, being an early model GC type body with a JDM engine in it. And of course you've seen what went into the package as we were assembling the parts. Well, the good news is now it's been tuned on the dyno. We're talking around 490 Newton meters of torque on our hub dyno at around 4,500 RPM and a bit over 300 kilowatts at the wheels. And you remember this is still effectively a standard 2-litre engine with forged pistons. It's probably got slightly too big a turbo, but it's got a lot of other unusual parts. So let's just have a look at the parts and then we'll talk about the dyno graph. So as you can see, it's all gone back together with the original factory inlet manifold, still running original factory blow-off valve, a largest original factory top mount intercooler off the later models. It's got the high pressure fuel reg with the gauge on the side, but it's a bit hard to see in place, which is chucked down there on the side. And of course it's got the modified inlet rails, the split rail system running dual fuel lines to the injectors. And over here we've got the 3-inch inlet to the turbo with an adapter to a 4-inch modified air intake running the original factory airflow meter sensor, because we're running modified factory ECU out of the 01 STI body in the early model GC8 chassis. So of course this particular model can run the original factory airflow meter sensor with the factory ECU custom tune running on E85. So at the moment probably a little bit more lagging than what we'd hoped, but it's got a lot of opportunity for further improvements down the track if the owner, being the person behind the phone on our video channel, is watching. The output, pretty happy with the result. Let's go and have a look at the dyno graph and we can just exactly see what we're comparing to. So we've got the original modification, which was down here with the VF30 turbo running on E85, and then the new one with the Blausch turbo running 24 PSI on E85, and you can see the difference. Now the interesting thing is this is where a lot of people want to understand the difference between different model turbos. So you can see the tiny VF30 STI turbo, which is quite a popular turbo in its day, comes on boost relatively early and then can only manage a bit over 240, 250 peak power, and we're talking 400 Newton meters of torque. However, the Blausch turbo is a larger turbo, so it spools later. This is the lag difference. Comes on boost, keeps climbing up to around 480 Newton meters, and then holds it fairly steadily to the end. Power, you can see here, constantly continues to climb up to a peak of just over 304 kilowatts at the wheel. So you can see the differences. What you gain at one place, you can lose in the other. So when people are saying, oh, it's got massive increase in power, well, what has it got down low? So interestingly, this car, if you're only driving it between 2,000 RPM and 4,500, 5,000 RPM, this car would be nicer to drive with the early model turbo. But if you're going to wring its neck like this owner did at the next round of the White Line Tarmac Rally Sprint Series, he's going to flog the hell out of this car, because it is his car, up to 7,000 RPM. So as long as he keeps changing gears in the high RPM, the next gear is going to come on boost at around 4,200 to 4,500 RPM. So of course the car's not going to feel any lag because he's in the sweet spot of the larger Blausch turbo. So there you have it. That's what you need to understand about the difference with dyno graphs, different turbos, the sweet spot of the benefits and the disadvantages. But of course, in the Frankenstein car, it's always something a little bit different. So if you're out at the White Line Tarmac Rally Sprint Series over the summer period coming up, the next one is in 3 days' time. Check it out, you'll see how the car goes. And of course, you can follow us more on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, and send us an email. We're glad to help no matter where you are in the world. I'm Brett Middleton. Thanks for watching.